You've heard that cliche about the best laid plans. Well, I've got my own saying about best laid plans, but this is a family report, and I don't want to really, curse out mothers that I'm not familiar with all across the nation. So I'll just let my words be left unsaid. But let me just talk about the elephant in the room, and that is my best bet yesterday on Army. Yeah, I wish the Pentagon had called me and let me know that Army's best player, their starting quarterback, had not practiced all week and was not going to play yesterday. Of course, that word leaked out a little under 2 hours before kickoff yesterday when Army was a 22 to 23 point favorite at home against Air Force. And quickly, when Vegas found out, that line dropped down to 17 and a half to 18 points. And you saw what happened as Army won, luckily, at home against Air Force by 17, but it didn't matter. Even if they had won by 18, I still would have counted it as a loss because naturally, when I put the play live at 8 o'clock Eastern Time yesterday, Army was a 22 and a half point favorite. Now, first of all, let me just say this. Anyone that purchased that play yesterday from me today, meaning Sunday, you will find my next Raise the Bar 20 dime release, a play just as strong as yesterday's release on Army, my NFC North game of the year on the Lions and Packers. You will get it for free, and it will be in your account on Sunday morning, available to you to access for free before 8 o'clock Eastern Time. That's my make good to you. Now, anyone that subscribes to me on a package, you will have another day added to your account by customer service as compensation. Now, listen, guys, this is gambling. There are no guarantees. I've been saying that since I had my nationwide sports talk show many years ago. But there's also fairness involved here. Do I owe anybody anything? Well, most people would say no, especially in this industry. But I feel that yes. I mean, there are some things that are certainly out of my control. Listen, I'm the guy that in the mid 90s, for a 6 year period, I controlled the release of injury information for every college team, for every professional team except the NHL. That was released for something called the Sports and Gaming Newswire that all the Vegas casinos subscribe to, and a lot of the big time bookies in this country subscribe to because I had my sources and I was able to gather that information on a daily basis. And listen, when I released an injury or had late breaking injury information, when they talk about having inside information, when they talk about having the power to move a line, when I got breaking information like that, yeah, I saw how I released that information and immediately saw lines jump, no matter the sport. But sometimes, no matter how many sources you have, even as a handicapper, somebody like me that's been doing it for so many years, there are injuries like this that simply go undetected. And you understand why. Because for coaches, that's a huge advantage to not let your opponent know who's going to be in, who's going to be out, especially the key position like that, the starting quarterback, who I think had 17 touchdowns this season, ran for 909 yards, more than any other quarterback at the FBS level. So sometimes these things happen. Does it make the loss go away? No, but it's gambling. And when you think about it, the Raise the Bar 20 dime releases the week prior. I hung on for a win against Miami of Florida against FSU. The week prior, I was damn lucky, and you know it as well, to win with Mizzou scoring on that final drive in the final 36 seconds against Auburn to get the half point cover. Sometimes the gambling gods don't smile upon us. But over the long haul, I'm telling you, the gambling gods more often come down in our favor than they don't. Hey everyone, Al DeMarco here, General Manager, DeMarcoSports.com. If you haven't figured it out by now, I don't know what video you're watching today. And this is going to be your Sunday video report. Let me just say that here for the NFL free picks, over the past 28 Sundays dating back to last season, I'm on a 57, 37, and 3 free pick roll. Going back to that Saturday play on Army, it doesn't obscure the fact that I have had one hell of a college football season. Because when you think about it, even though Army lost yesterday, I am still 7-2 the last 9 Saturdays with my best bet over at DeMarcoSports.com. 7-2 the last 9 Saturdays. And here on the video report, what was my top play yesterday? My second favorite play on the board, the play that I would have used if Army, I'd known anything about Army and their quarterback situation. It was Oregon getting the job done at Michigan. And I am now 8-2 the last 10 Saturdays with the best bet of the best of the worst of the free plays. Don't know what more I can possibly do for you, but that's never enough. And ladies and gentlemen, today we have a new member of the Cockroach Club. I know, cue the applause. Let me make sure my earbud doesn't fall out. But yes, we have a new member of the Cockroach Club because 4 days ago, a gentleman by the name of James Drabeck decided to send in a comment here on YouTube. And what did he say? After 3 days ago, after last weekend, Mr. Drabeck said to me, what did he say? You sucked. I think to paraphrase here, let's see. It said, you sucked last week and you should retire. Something along those lines. Geez, I sucked last week and I should retire. This is a guy who at DeMarcoSports.com had a free trial, a one-day free trial, May 16th, 2016. Never has been a paying customer. Never. His exact quote, another losing weekend, retire, please. James, you're just another clown without courage. A clueless keyboard warrior hiding behind your computer screen. That's all you are. You're a loser. Nothing more, nothing less. I mean, think about it. Last Saturday, Miami of Florida, my best bet at DeMarcoSports.com. Lost last Sunday, I will say, because the Green Bay Packers can't predict injuries. Jordan Love left early in the third quarter. They failed to cover against Jacksonville. But then Monday night, another raised a bar 29 winner on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And of course, again, here, as I just told you, the NFL free plays, 57-37. The past 28 Sundays with the plays I'm giving away. And after winning with Oregon yesterday, now 8-2 with my last 10 Saturday best bets. So I don't know what plays James is talking about, but the bottom line is this. If you ain't happy, don't watch. That's my advice, because I don't need you, nor do I give a damn. Yeah, I don't care. Now, by the way, it does bother me a bit. I use these things to make fun of people because I think it entertains probably 90% of the audience when I nominate a new person to the Cockroach Club. I wish I had pictures of these people. We could put up a little thing on the site. Hey, Cockroach Club, charter members. I think that would be so cool, wouldn't it? Oh, I could be diabolical if I could get pictures of these people. I mean, we could have like the Blue Ribbon Cockroach Club. We can have the Cockroach Club Member of the Week. I mean, the stuff I could do with that. Oh, I could be so evil sometimes. But listen, if you don't have a thick skin in this business, you can't be in this business. A lot of guys in this business take it all personally. You can't. When you pull a trigger on the play and you lose, people are spending money on that play. People are wagering money on that play. You're in the line of fire. You have to accept it. It's what you do for a living. And, you never expect to get props for when you win, but you have to expect to get the fire when you lose. What you don't appreciate is the fact that this is still gambling. This is entertainment. You're big boys and girls. You have to accept the fact that you will win and you will lose. And if you're betting more than you can afford to lose, well, you shouldn't be gambling in the first place. End of story. Okay, listen, let's get to today's plays. And again, if you like the video, if you like how I just mentioned, we have a new member of the Cockroach Club. Click the little like button if you'd like. That's redundant, isn't it? Also, you can also subscribe down there in the right-hand corner, so you will always be alerted to when I have a new video update. And I encourage you, it's up to you. If you'd like to leave your plays down in the comments section, please do. The only reason you're watching this video is because you're gambling. And most of you are amateur handicappers as well. When I get a chance, I like to try to respond and give my opinions on your picks. I can't do it all the time because otherwise I'd be living in front of my computer screen 19 hours a day instead of 18. But again, it's healthy commentary and it's healthy for the site, I think, because everybody out there has opinions, and because there's so many of you that are regional. Like one gentleman wrote in yesterday that I guess he was from the Ann Arbor area, and even though he's in that Michigan area, that he was going against the hometown team, and he thought that it was very foolish how some people did not go against their hometown teams, but he thought Oregon was to play. Bingo, so did I, and we were both right. I think that's healthy conversation and open for discussion. So feel free to leave your plays. Okay, with that being said, let's get to your top play today. It's not a strong NFL card in terms of depth because obviously a number of teams have buys, and but there are still some good plays. Another gentleman wrote in yesterday and wanted to get my opinion early of what I thought about the Buffalo Miami game. And my simple response was, don't the Bills always beat the Dolphins? I mean, that's the case. So, number one free pick, gonna go with Buffalo. Why not? Because the Bills always beat the Dolphins. That's the bottom line. In this series, it has been so ridiculously one-sided. Since Josh Allen came to town, Allen is 7-1 against the Dolphins, and the Bills are 14-2 against Miami since Sean McDermott resuscitated the franchise. And that's regular season in regular season and postseason games. The Bills are 9-1 in the last 10, and they've won 7 straight at home in the series by an average of 17 points. Winning those games, the average final score 37-20. So we're not even talking close games here, right? And by the way, Josh Allen I wrote down here, Josh Allen is 12-2 lifetime against Miami, 7-1 in his matchups against Tua, and in those games, 7 home games, 21 touchdown passes. Now, you know what happened in week number 2 when Buffalo went to Miami. That was the game they won easily, 31-10, and it was the game that was well in hand in the third quarter when Tua left the game because he was concussed, and he just returned last week in the loss to Arizona. Now, Tua in that game, 3 interceptions, and those 3 turnovers led to 17 Buffalo points directly. The defense forced those 3 turnovers. I like the fact that Buffalo was 3-0 at home, averaging 38.3 points. I like the fact that the Bills have come into this game on a roll with 3 straight wins coming off the big road blowout of Seattle. I like the fact that the Bills' defense is perhaps the healthiest it has been in weeks, and Von Miller has come back from suspension, so that will help their pass rush. I've got to go with them in this spot. I can't really think of many reasons to back Miami. A lot of people will say, well, the Dolphins are desperate. Well, weren't they desperate last week? What happened then? A couple other interesting tidbits. You've got a Buffalo team that has done very well in the red zone defensively, holding opponents to just 42.8% conversions. That's number 6 in the league. So I'm willing to go with Buffalo. The line is sitting at 6.5, 6 at some sports books. Naturally, I'm buying down the half point on the Bills in that spot. So Buffalo would be your number 1 play. Number 2 is going to be Washington, -3.5 or -4. The 2 big books that control 67% or take in 67% of the U.S. wagers, you can get 3.5 or 4. Now, in either case, I'm buying down the half point, but you can see where it's more advantageous to shop, and it's why I always recommend having at least 2 accounts at 2 different books to capitalize. Listen, it's not just shopping at your local Kroger, or Sam's Club, that makes a difference. You've got to be able to have books which have varying price points in order to better yourself. And in some cases, you won't have to buy the half point, okay? Washington's coming off that 18-15 win against the Bears at home on the Hail Mary pass. They've won 6 of their last 7. Washington had been on a roll offensively before just scoring a season low 18 points against the Bears in their previous 5 games. They had averaged a little over 35 points. I love the way that the Commanders' offensive line has really gelled here of late, allowing just 9 sacks in the last 5 games. If you go back to the week 2 matchup, and remember, that was Jaden Daniels' second ever start as a professional, right? Washington moved the ball up and down the field, 425 yards versus 304 in the first meeting, and Daniels was fine, 23 for 29, 226 yards. Now, he was sacked 5 times, which again plays into the fact that how much better the offensive line is playing of late. But, and he rushed for 44 yards too, but the Commanders simply bogged down in the red zone. And consequently, they won that game because they got seven field goals from Austin Seibert, the last one on a 30-yarder as time expired. Could Washington possibly settle for that many field goals again in the red zone? I just told you that prior to last week's 18-15 win against Chicago, this team had been rolling offensively, averaging 35 points a game. I just don't see the Giants doing anything here. This is a Giants team that has collapsed. They've lost 3 straight games. They've only scored a total of 28 in them. Their run defense is last in the league, giving up in terms of yards per carry yielded at 5.4, 27th in the league, giving up 141.8 yards per game. And look at how Washington can run the ball so effectively. Third in the league, averaging 158 yards a game per game, and also averaging 5.2 yards per carry. That's the second best figure in the NFL. So I think Washington can not only control the clock, but also this is a damn cheap price. Again, 3.5 or 4, buying down the half point on the Commanders. Remember, if you'd like to get the best bets of all the handicappers at the site today, and a second day for you as free, you can do so. The normal price today for the all access pass is $109, but you can get it for free today, and a second day of your choice. It could be Monday, it could be next Saturday. Your choice. Free is free. I can't sell free better than telling you it's the best 4-letter word I can possibly say, other than about the guy in the Cockroach Club, but that's a different 4-letter word starting with the word F. Can't go into that. But anyway, the free all access pass, 2 days, your choice, for free. Check it out over at DeMarcosports.com. And if you have any questions, you can always contact customer service. I'm going to go with New Orleans, -7.5 over Carolina. Yes, I know the Saints have lost 6 in a row, but Derek Carr is coming back here today after a 3-game absence. The team is the healthiest it has been in weeks. Got a number of guys back last week, but now they got Carr back. And you've got a Carolina team that's 1-7 straight up and against the spread. And the last, I think, every loss this season has been at least by a 10-point margin or more. They just traded one of their top wide receivers, Deontay Johnson, to the Ravens Tuesday. I mean, this season's shot. They're building towards next year. You go back to the season opening meeting, which the Saints won 47-10. They controlled the clock for nearly 37 minutes because they ran for 180 yards, 4.9 yards per carry. And that's when Carolina was a healthier team. So you've got a Carolina team that allows an average of 155 yards rushing per game. That's the worst figure in the NFL. I think Alvin Kamara is going to have a big game today. I think Carr, now that he's got a lot of his tools around him as well that are healthy, is going to be able to exploit that Carolina defense. Yes, Bryce Young looked okay against Denver in that 28-14 loss last week, a game where he went 24 for 37, 224 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. But in the first meeting, he only threw for 161 yards. He was sacked 4 times, and he had 2 picks. So, again, I think Carolina, 7.5. I'm buying down the half point on New Orleans in that spot. Your final play is going to be a teaser. And I'll explain you why for both of these teams here. I'm going to go with Baltimore and Philadelphia and a 2-team 7-point teaser. And you'll see at the top of this video, there's a little click information spot where I talk about parlays and teasers, the difference, why one is advantageous, one is a sucker play. But the teaser is this. Baltimore is a 9.5-point favorite against Denver. And a 7-point teaser, I'm taking down Baltimore to 2.5. Why a 7-point teaser instead of a 6-point teaser? Well, why would I possibly take Baltimore from 9.5 down to 3.5 and lose on a field goal potentially. It doesn't make sense. That's why I opt for the 7-point teaser at a couple more pennies in terms of the vig. And then Philadelphia is a 7.5 point favorite at home against Jacksonville. I like Philadelphia, and I'm going to take Philadelphia down to 1.5. Let's talk about the Baltimore game first. Of course, the Ravens had their 5-game winning streak snapped with that 29-24 loss at Cleveland. Lamar Jackson, there was some question earlier in the week whether or not he's going to play. Obviously, Lamar Jackson is going to be available and start this game. The Ravens can put points on the board with anybody, with Jackson and Derrick Henry. The problem is the Ravens can't stop anybody. Anybody that thinks this is a Ravens defense back from the Ray Lewis era, you've been deceived. They haven't been good defensively, really, for a couple of years. Statistically, perhaps, on paper, perhaps the past couple of years, but on the field, they really suck, okay? Pass defense, they absolutely are horrendous. Last in the league, giving up 291 yards a game. Jameis Winston shredded them last week. I mean, I understand when Joe Burrow shreds you, but when Jameis Winston shreds you, you got issues. Now, Bo Nix, 4 touchdown passes last week. He's played exceptionally well here of late. And you've got a Denver team that is red hot, right? And you have a Denver defense that has played exceptional all season, especially putting great pressure on quarterbacks. But you consider who Denver has beaten during this nice red hot roll. 3 teams with 6 losses, the Jets, the Saints, and the Raiders, and another team that's 1-7 on the year, the Carolina Panthers. Not exactly the cream of the crop during this 5-1 run. Would I lay the big points with Baltimore straight up? No. But in a teaser, obviously, I'm just asking Baltimore to win this game by a field goal at home. I'm very, very comfortable with that. Philadelphia, when's the last time I want to play involving my hometown Eagles? Yeah, I can't think of it either. So I feel very comfortable, though, however, with the way the Eagles have played, 3 straight wins, and they're coming off that big road blowout of Cincinnati to take on Jacksonville. And Doug Peterson is returned to Philly. That was an impressive defensive performance against the Bengals and Joe Burrow, I have to admit, last week. And the defense has really come together because the pass rush has suddenly exploded the last few weeks. You got a Jacksonville pass defense that's 31st in the league. You have a Jacksonville pass offense where Trevor Lawrence has cut down his turnovers dramatically, but who's he going to be throwing the ball to? Christian Kirk, their number 2 receiver, they just put on the injured reserve list. Their number 1 guy, Brian Thomas Jr., is questionable for the game. Gabe Davis is also questionable for the game. They're banged up at the running back position as well. And I think all this travel has certainly hurt Jacksonville too, because remember when they took that 2-game sojourn to London, they stayed in London. That means this is their 6th time on the road in a 9-game stretch already this year. That's a lot of travel for Jacksonville. Again, would I feel comfortable laying the points with Philadelphia and getting screwed by the Eagles again? Absolutely not. But here I'm just asking the Eagles to win the game outright. And plus, when you have a Philadelphia team that hasn't scored in the first quarter, I don't know when. I mean, it's forever, I think. Again, I would much rather take Philadelphia minus the 1.5 point in that teaser along with Baltimore. So let's recap your Sunday plays. The best bet is going to be Buffalo. Number 2 is going to be Washington. Number 3 is going to be New Orleans. And then your teaser is going to be Baltimore and Philadelphia, taking both of those favorites down in a 2-team teaser. Pretty simple how to do that. All the other games on the board, I can't really say that I liked any of them. But listen, you've got all the plays. Go forth, make some money. And again, if you bought yesterday's play, as I discussed earlier, you will find it, your compensation. If you bought it as a solo play yesterday, you will find that compensation, the Sunday play, in your message center. You just go in, you log in. If you were a first-time buyer yesterday, you use the same passcodes. You log in once again today, Sunday, and you will get the Packers Lions play, the 20-dime release for free as compensation. And if you were already a package subscriber, you don't have to do anything. Your package will automatically be extended for an additional day as a make good. Good luck, everybody, and talk to you again soon.